So what if I told you the story of diabetes isn't just about blood sugar and insulin? Today, we're going to explore a pretty radical idea, that this physical illness actually has deep roots in our emotional lives. And the key to really understanding it might lie on that powerful and often overlooked connection between our mind and our body.
Just to set the stage, right now over 150 million people around the globe are living with diabetes. And that's not a static number. According to the World Health Organization, it's set to grow a lot. We're talking about a true modern-day epidemic here.
So this brings up a really big question, doesn't it? We've known about diabetes for ages, since ancient times. Yet with all of our incredible medical advances, we still consider it incurable. We can manage it, sure, but not cure it. So why? Why is this ancient disease still such a modern mystery?
Okay, so to even start to unpack this mystery, we've got to go back. We need to look at the long and frankly fascinating history of how we've tried to understand this thing. Just look at this timeline. For literally thousands of years, doctors in places like Greece, China, and India knew the symptoms inside and out. Some even tasted their patient's urine to diagnose it. Talk about dedication. But it wasn't until the late 1800s that we even connected it to the pancreas. And insulin? That's a 1921 discovery. So for most of human history, we saw the effects perfectly, but the cause was a total black box.
And what's really wild is that even today, after all these breakthroughs, the official line is that the root cause of diabetes is still not fully known. And think about what that means. When you don't know the why, you're forced to focus all your energy on managing the what. And that's exactly why treatment has always been about controlling the symptoms, not getting rid of the source of the problem.
All right, so before we dive into this different perspective, we need to get a really clear picture of the conventional view. The mechanical model of how the body's engine is supposed to run.
So, at its simplest, diabetes is a problem with your metabolism. Think of it like this. Your body is supposed to take glucose, that's sugar from your food, and turn it into fuel. But with diabetes, that whole process breaks down. The sugar can't get into your cells to power them, so it just builds up in your bloodstream instead. And this breakdown really happens in two main ways. With type 1, you've got a supply problem. The body's own immune system basically goes rogue and attacks the pancreas, so it can't make insulin anymore. But with type 2, it's more of a communication problem. The insulin is there, but the body cells just ignore it. They're resistant to its message. So what does this mean for treatment? Well, it means it becomes this lifelong, non-stop juggling act. You're constantly having to manually balance your blood sugar by managing these three things: taking insulin, watching your diet very closely, and getting the right amount of exercise. It's a full-time job. Okay, but this is where we're going to pivot. Because what if this purely mechanical view, this engine room model, is missing a huge piece of the puzzle? Let's look at this whole thing through a completely different lens. And that brings us to this really fundamental question we have to ask. For centuries, especially in Western culture, we've been taught to see the mind and body as two totally separate things. You can thank philosophers like Descartes for that. But what if that's just wrong? What if they aren't separate at all, but one single deeply connected system? And that's the whole idea behind a field called psychosomatics. The name itself tells you everything. It comes from the Greek words for soul and body. It's an approach that sees them as two sides of the same coin. What happens in your mind directly, and I mean directly, impacts what happens in your body, and vice versa.
And you know what? We don't have to look far to see that this is true. This isn't some abstract theory, it's your everyday life. Think about it. That moment of pure fear, what happens? Your heart pounds in your chest. A flash of anger, you can feel the blood rush to your face. Deep embarrassment, your stomach ties itself in knots. Every single emotion has a real physical reaction.
There's this great quote from the scientist Rudolf von Virchow. He said that disease isn't just a broken part, it's life constrained in its manifestations. What a powerful way to put it. It reframes illness from being a simple mechanical problem to being a sign that a person's life force, the very expression of who they are, is being blocked somehow.
Okay, so how does this actually work? On a biological level, how can something as invisible as a feeling or a memory actually help trigger a physical disease like diabetes?
Well, the science behind this actually goes back more than 100 years. A physiologist named Walter Cannon did this landmark work on the fight or flight response. He showed that when we're under threat, stress hormones flood our system. And what's one of their main jobs? To dump sugar into our bloodstream for a quick burst of energy. It's a survival tool. But just stop and think about that for a second. A body that's constantly being told to dump sugar into the blood, doesn't that sound exactly like the problem in diabetes?
So, the source we're looking at really breaks down what happens when that stress just doesn't go away. First, your body mobilizes its resources. If that doesn't solve the problem, things escalate into an active emotion, like rage. And if that doesn't work, it collapses into a passive feeling, like complete helplessness. When you get stuck in this loop, it can lead to a chronic state of anxiety and tension, keeping your body on high alert 24/7.
And to add another layer to this, we can look at an idea from Sigmund Freud. He proposed that our physical body acts as a kind of memory system, that stress and trauma from our past, it doesn't just disappear. If we don't process it, it gets stored. It gets held in our tissues, our muscles, our organs, and over time, that can start to interfere with how they're supposed to work.
Now here's where it gets even more complex. The source suggests there's another psychological layer here. Sometimes, an illness can unconsciously provide what psychologists call secondary gains. It might become a way to escape responsibility, or a way to finally get care and attention you've been needing. It's not something people do on purpose, of course. It's totally unconscious, but it shows how tangled our physical health can get with our deepest emotional needs.
All right, so if our unresolved emotions and all this chronic stress can help get us into this mess, what's the way out? What does a path toward healing look like from this point of view?
This means the whole goal just completely flips. Instead of focusing only on fighting the symptom, the high blood sugar, the aim becomes understanding and resolving the emotional conflict that might be driving the whole problem from the roots up.
And what's cool is that this perspective offers a really practical 4-step way to do this. First, you have to recognize those feelings you've been pushing down. Step 2 is just to accept them. Let them be there without judging them. Then, step 3 is to really truly experience the emotion, to feel it fully. The thinking is that only once you've truly felt it can you consciously let it go and finally free your body from its grip.
And all of this really leaves us with one last big question to think about. What if our physical symptoms aren't just random breakdowns? What if they're actually messages? Messages from our body trying to tell us that something deeper is out of balance. And if that's true, maybe the truest path to healing isn't about fixing the body, but about finally learning to listen to what it's been trying to tell us all along.